and this young boy took an interest in her daughter's, the daughter's girl who didn't like. They were fighting. So she faked that she was going to be this girl's boyfriend, and then this girl eventually, she had some kind of other emotional issues, ended up killing herself because the boy, really the girl's mother, told her to do so. Because one person steps over the line and does something that is questionable, should that be then an excuse to regulate the entire internet and then propagandize the fact that if you're cyberbullying, you can cost the life of another human being? I mean, sticks and stones may break my bones, Michael, but names can never hurt me. Go ahead.
Yeah, my mom saw that ad. And also in this magazine, we looked at, me and my friend, who is also a truther like me, we were looking at who gave us this information. And at the bottom, well, there was two things. There was another thing that it said bad. It said that the population's too big and it'll hurt us because there's not enough natural resources and stuff.
Yeah, it's about sustainability. And sustainability is about population reduction, which is about eugenic control. They've been saying the population was too big when it was at 2 billion, then 3 billion, then 4, 5, and now it's 6. And Ted Turner has openly stated less than a year ago to We Are Change, after being confronted on his quotes in the 90s about a population reduction of 350 million people. And I'm not talking about killing 350 million. I'm talking about 350 million left on the planet. Left on the planet, that means 19 out of 20 need to die. What did he say to We Are Change 18 months ago or so? He said, no, that's not me. I go with the UN numbers. 2 or 3 billion. 2 or 3 billion? That means that the person standing next to me on my right and possibly on my left, or maybe even me, 1 out of 3, need a bullet in my brain. Or 1 out of 2. How do you get to a population of 2 or 3 billion from 6.5 if you don't plan on killing a bunch of people? Of course they plan on killing a bunch of people. And it drives me nuts that people can't associate. When they say they need a population on this planet of 2 to 3 billion, you better listen. You better listen damn well. Michael, keep up the great work. I know you're another young info warrior out there trying to do the right thing. Appreciate everything you do. Let's move it to David in Arkansas. David, you're on the line.
Hey, Jason, how you doing today?
Good.
I'm sitting here listening to your show, boycotting the Super Bowl and all that mindless nonsense, and I've got this all sorts of psychological trauma. I'm a network security engineer. I've been in this field for a couple of decades, and I've kind of jumped ship over the last year into the iPhone platform, seeing all this coming, because I don't want to be a part of any of this. But what I do want to impart to the listeners is they've got a fight on their hands like they don't anticipate, and actually trying to get this stuff to stay shut off. Because there's so many avenues. If you've got one computer that can talk to another computer in any protocol, any format at all, there's ways of piggybacking signals on there and getting things through these firewalls. There's proxies. Mainly what they're trying to do is take over the DNS. So, we can set up separate DNS architectures. We can hard code IP addresses. We just got to keep fighting this, because this cannot pass. This is the most important aspect of the front line. This is our very free speech at stake right here.
Well, I agree with you 110%. And for those people that don't really understand why we need to boycott this, explain to them what happens if the government has full regulation over all internet traffic, David.
Oh, it will be absolute tyranny. We will not be able to find out anything that isn't a government-sponsored lie. They will be able to go target us for whatever purpose, political or otherwise, that they want. And this can't be allowed to happen. They've tried to do things in the past where they want to charge per byte or per minute, and the community has fought back hard. And
well, we need to fight back much harder. I mean, people, you talk about bandwidth money, and that's the idea that you're going to pay per bandwidth. And they've tried it in areas, even in Austin, Texas. They did a trial run right outside of Austin. I think it was either in Bastrop or Kyle out there. And that's tyrannical in itself. But when they decide that they're going to regulate all internet, even if we are lucky enough to kind of have a black market internet where there is still some freedom of speech, the people that actually run those things are going to be apt to be prosecuted unbelievably. I mean, we're talking about charging them with 20 to life for running an illegal website. So people will be turned off to the idea. And then people who use that black internet, it'll probably be even more than a slap on the wrist. It'll probably be like the drug war. Oh, no, you were downloading illegally off of this illegal site. And now instead of the RIAA, we're going to have the federal government come in and regulate. All right, let's go to Kate in Canada. Kate, you're online.
Hi, Jason.
Hey, Kate.
I'm a mother of 4. And I work full-time, and my husband works full-time. And I do agree to a certain extent with your friend about there being sort of like a watching the internet to make it safe. But the person that's going to watch is going to be myself or my kids.
All right, so hold on, Kate. Kate, let's go over that on the other side. We're going to break. It's the InfoWarrior Super Bowl Sunday. Back after this. We are back to InfoWarrior with Jason Bermas, and we're talking to Kate in Canada. Kate was telling us how she has 4 children of her own and giving us her concerns on these cybersecurity bills. Go ahead and continue.
Well, just with the bill, I am quite capable of deciding what my kids can look at on the internet or what they can't look at. I don't need the government coming in and doing that job for me. And I hear this all the time where people are like, well, we have to do something. It's like, yeah, why don't you go and do it? And we don't need to have all these rules put in place. I'm fully able to decide on how to protect my children, what's the best way. I'm a very busy person. My husband coaches the kids' soccer team. I'm on the Parents' Council. In fact, I'm chairing this year because no other parent wanted to do it. I try to be active with the other parents, with the teachers, with everything that's going on. I think it's too much of a reactionary thing to do is to try to censor things because people don't want to be responsible for their job to protect their own children.
Absolutely. And this isn't about censorship for children. Okay, you know that. This is about censorship for you and what you're allowed to
exactly.
Look at.
But the whole pretense of it is supposed to be for our kids, and it's garbage.
Yeah, well, they also say it's because of cybersecurity attacks, and they're going to be able to get into the infrastructure of the U.S. government. And in some respects, that has already happened, but no amount of legislation is going to be able to stop a crafty hacker from being able to get into the national security archives of the NSA or Homeland Security or one of these many other agencies. What this is about tracking, tracing, and databasing everything done on the internet in real time, standardizing all software configurations, all software language, all hardware, and then recruiting your children on top of it. It's also about putting smaller companies into servitude. See, they're going to loan out money to companies without or with less than 100 employees in order for them to get under this standardized programming of cybersecurity so that they'll have these people in their pockets later. I thank you for the call, Kate. Let's go to Steve in Michigan. Steve, you're online.
Hi, Jason. I was wondering, are there any ISPs that are going to fight this?
I don't think so. I have not heard any of the major internet service providers, whether it be Time Warner, whether it be Comcast, whether it be smaller venues such as like Cricket that have their own little 3G networks of the sort, saying that they will fight this. Not one. I have not heard any outcry from those organizations.
If you believe in redemption, I'm calling to you from another dimension.
I'm going to Disney World! Hey! No, I'm not. That's just a big disappointment anyway, folks. Yes, the Saints upset the Colts, and they are champions during this live Super Bowl Sunday broadcast of the InfoWarrior. If you missed any of the important issues, whether it be the climate change hoax and fraud, we went over about 5 articles in 5 minutes, or the Cybersecurity Act being overwhelmingly passed by the House. I think it's 432 to 5. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dissenters out there, one of which being Ron Paul in the ultra draconian police state Cybersecurity Act. And it doesn't matter. We have it up here. 6% of the people that have actually went to the site and read the bill are for it. 6% of over 2,000 votes are for this bill. All right, let's take a couple final callers. Let's go to Paul in Massachusetts. Paul, you're on the line. Yes, sir.
Just calling you real quick. I'm the Scott Brown voter. A lot of people are confused about that. We couldn't have such a tyrannical person in our government. in such a powerful position, especially not at this time. But to real briefly get back to what I was originally calling about was the cybersecurity. Basically, I'm sure everybody already knows, but since day one, since there were telegraph lines, they've tried to monopolize them and monopolize the flow of information, and we've just been dealing with this ever since. Any comments?
No, absolutely. But we've had some vestige of free speech on the internet, and we've had more success getting our message across to the everyday average American through the internet than any other medium. Obviously, we can't afford to be or get on mainline television, especially to be portrayed in a positive light. Obviously, it's very difficult for us to get our movies into your average video store or on the big screen, almost an impossibility. So how do we distribute our information? Through the internet. And through the internet, we have had hundreds of millions of people globally check out our information, and that's why they're moving to shut it down and put it under FCC, Federal Communications Commission control, while standardizing all software languages. Appreciate the call.